Welcome to Kippy C Math! Today we're going to round 6-digit numbers to any place, and we're going to keep thinking about that chicken crossing the road. We remember that round means to find what your number is closest to, but those numbers don't have to be small. They can get bigger and bigger and bigger. The thing to keep in mind is when if a truck was coming down the road, we would use the halfway mark to decide what side of the road the chicken was closer to. Now, just like the work you did for the ones, tens, and hundreds, you're going to do that same work for the 1,000s, 10,000s, and 100,000s because they follow the same patterns, right? Do you remember the things you kind of noticed? How you found the sides of the road by using a place value chart? How the halfway mark was 5 in the next place over? That's the same for these bigger digits too. You just have to make sure that you really keep those zeros in the right spot. If you drop one, then it totally changes the place, right? Let's do some examples so I can show you what I mean by following these patterns, right? If we're gonna round, step 1 is always to find what your place value is between. So let's say that if I want to find what this number is between, to the nearest 10, I put my number in the place value chart, and if I want to know how many tens are the number, I redraw that place value chart with just tens, like this. This number has so many tens because it's so big. And all the lower numbers turn to zeros to find my low benchmark, and then the next one up, my high benchmark. So this number would be between 156,920, 156,930. I'd show that exact same work to round to the nearest thousands. I'd redraw my place value chart to the thousands and bring that number down. All these smaller digits that are too small to have thousands would turn to zeros. My low benchmark would be 156,000. My high benchmark would be 157,000. Now let's try it to the nearest 100,000. Same work. This time it's a little bit funny because I'm going to draw my place value chart all the way to the 100,000s. It's already there, right? When I bring that down, just 100,000. But this part turning to zeros shows me that it's between 100,000 and 200,000. Step 2 is to find the halfway mark. And guess what? The same patterns we noticed when we did halfway marks before continue. You remember we said it's always 5 in the smaller place? So when my number is here in the tens chart and I've turned this to 0, halfway is going to be 5. 156,925. Let's do the next one. When I've drawn my place value chart like this, and all these numbers have turned to zeros, halfway is going to be the smaller place over from where I'm rounding to, here, 5 in the hundreds place. So my halfway mark is 156,500. Let's do the next one the same way. When I draw my number in the 100,000 place value chart, and all of these turn to zeros, again, 5 is in that smallest place over from where I'm rounding to. So that's my halfway mark, 150,000. And then for my very last step, I just see what side my number is on. So think about what side 156,928 is on. We're really trying to compare the 8 to the 5, right? Because all the rest is the same. What do you think my answer is? What am I going to round to? What is 156,928 rounded to the nearest 10? 8 is bigger than 5, so it would go here. So it's closer to this side. What about the next one? Now we're comparing to the 500. So we're comparing this whole amount to 500. What side does it go on? What is my number closest to? 928 is bigger than 500, so it goes over here. So it's closest to this one. And last one, 156,928. Now we're comparing this whole bit to 50,000. What side does it go on? What is my number closer to? It's bigger. It goes here. So it's closer to this one. Now let's talk to a special guest to see this done all together for one problem.
Hey, Miss Ramish. And class, I'm Mrs. Shaw from Heights Academy.
Miss Shaw, how do I round 382,716 to the nearest 10?
Oh man, you know what I would do? First, I'd probably put it in a place value chart.
Okay, let me do that first then. Here we go. Ooh, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's a pretty big number.
Okay, so ones, tens, hundreds, 1,000s, 10,000s, 100,000s.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I'm putting it in there. Okay, got it.
Now, I'm going to start to imagine there are only 10,000s. So I could even probably redraw my place value chart. Or I could just underline whatever is in the 10,000s or bigger.
Okay.
10,000s or 380,000.
Okay, I'll go like that to kind of show it right underneath. So it's 38 in the 10,000s.
Now I'm on to the step of drawing a number line.
Okay.
So I know my lowest point is 380,000. That's my lower 10,000.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go up to 1 in the 10,000s place. And
Okay.
I'm going to get to 390,000.
Okay. I get it. I'm getting it. It looks good.
So now we're on to that part of thinking about our halfway mark.
Okay.
And our halfway mark is always 5 in the next smallest place.
Okay.
So that would be 385,000.
Okay. Because it's going to be a 5 in the thousands place. Got it. Oh my gosh. This is looking great. Okay.
Now we're on to the last step.
Okay.
Now I can think about where my number goes. So 382,716. That's lower than 385,000. So it is going to go on the left side of the halfway,
Okay.
which means it's closer to 380,000. So that must mean 382,716 rounds to 380,000.
Whoa! Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, seriously.
Man, that is so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, so let's do this one together. Step 1, I put my number in a place value chart. Now I redraw the chart so that it's just to the tens. So now I see my low benchmark is going to be there because this number has so many tens inside. What's the next 10? This is 123,350. What's the next 10 up? Up from 50 would be 60. So we do 123,360. Now we know our halfway mark is just that first smallest place over. So the halfway is 123,355. Since my number is less than 5, it's over here. It's closer to this side. So it rounds to this number. Yay for your super brain! This is big leagues. This is really huge stuff. But we know that math is just like anything else, right? It just takes practice.